Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to Zombicide Invader mini expansion pack. This is the Survivors of the Galaxy. So this is a pack you pick up, has 4 miniature survivors, 1 abomination, plus the spawn cards for that abomination. So a fun extra little thing to add on if you just like a couple extra characters. So a quick note on this though, these all 5 of these characters are available in the Kickstarter exclusive Civilians pack, which I've also done a video for. I'll link that in the description just in case. I did mention in that video as well that this box was in there, so just so some of you don't do like I did and say, oh, I gotta pick up all the different boxes. I picked up the Kickstarter stuff, I better pick up this box as well. Nope, if you pick up the Kickstarter one, you do not have to have this. The only reason to maybe pick this one up separately would be if you want an additional, sorry about the dust on there, the additional abomination. It's probably a cheaper way than buying a second full Kickstarter box set. Although, I would almost argue if you're trying to just pick up additional abominations, I would almost say trying just spend the extra difference and maybe pick up a second Kickstarter box, because then you get an additional one of all of those guys. But we're going to hop into this just in case you're like, you know what, I don't need 30 more survivors and 18 more, different miniatures and all this. I just want a couple of extra characters. I saw this on sale for, $20. I'm going to pick it up. So let's jump through and see what we have for these characters. Another nice thing about this is all 4 of these characters are survivors, civilians. So which is nice because in the base game you have 6 in the base game of Invaders you have 6 civilians and 3 civilians and 3 soldiers. Then the 2 big expansions being Dark Side and in Black Ops, they're all soldiers, so you don't get any additional soldiers in here. So this will get you 4 more civilians. So you can swap them out a little bit if you want. Otherwise, the only other way to get civilians is one of the Kickstarter packs. Either one of the exclusive content ones or one of the gangs packs, which I've also done a video on. But let's run through these guys pretty quick. We have Captain Warlock here. Our good old pirate captain. Who has charge, which will let him spend an action to move 2 spaces. Actually, I said spending action, it might be free. Yeah, it's free. They can move 2 zones containing at least 1 Xeno. So they get an additional extra move space, but it has to be in a space with a Xeno. Notice if they need to get closer for combat, and extra free movement action isn't bad. Then in is orange, 1 free melee or 1 free range. So depending on how you want to play them. And in red, 1 free move action, hit and run, and shove. Shove, of course, will let you pick the zone of Xenos, you have Xenos in it, and shove them to another spot, so you can get away easier. Hit and run means as long as you defeated at least 1 Xeno, you get a free move action. So this guy's all about moving around. Either charging and do damage, then you could hit and run, and defeat guys, and then move on to another area, or move away from them. Or if you couldn't, for some reason, charging, you couldn't kill everything, you could shove them out of the way, or hit and run into another area. Definitely has some good options on what you would like him to do. We'll zoom up on his miniature a little bit there. He's got a little dragon peg on his shoulder. Some swords, some stuff like that. Definitely cool. Alright, up next we have Invader Sitar, who's our cat warrior. Again, I like the fact that they had different alien races in here versus just everyone being human. Big old giant, like Wolverine type extended claws plus a gun. Alright, so Invader Civilian has 1 free melee action. Extra attack right off the bat's never a bad thing. Then in orange, +1 die for range, so if you want to switch over to range, or Bloodlust melee. Bloodlust Melee will let you move up to 2 zones, spending action to move up to 2 zones to at least 1 Xeno, then getting a free action. So where like the captain's charge, let him spend a free one to move into a zone. Here you have to spend one, but you still get to move into 2, but you get actions. It's essentially charge plus an attack. But you can use Bloodlust Melee to get in their attack, then use your extra free action to attack. So now you spend you spend your free melee action to even use your Bloodlust Melee action if you wanted to. It's definitely interesting there. And then we have 1 free combat action, 1 zone per move, and a Reaper combat. So again, if you want to be ranged or melee, you can kind of switch up with the free combat. 1 extra zone lets you get around a little bit quicker. And Reaper combat means that whenever you take out a says, well, assigning hits while resolving action of specific type, one of these hits can freely eliminate an identical Xeno of the same zone. So if you take out a hunter, you can take out an additional hunter. You take out 3 workers, you can take out 1 additional worker. So it just lets you, if you're coming up on big groups, you can take out more at one time. Alright, our third survivor for this pack is Butcher Carl. Another alien guy. He's a pig man. Who has combat reflexes, which let him, whenever a Xeno spawns within line of sight, he may immediately perform a free combat action. So if he's like within range or meleeing a guy spawn in front of him, he can go ahead and kill him. This is actually kind of very helpful in this one because of if you get the spawns in the mold or the pits, you might be right next to one of them. But even if you have him just within range of a spawn zone, he can, as soon as the guys spawn, hey, we spawned 3 guys, he can go ahead and try and take them out. Maybe he'll get lucky and take out more guys than we're already on there. Might be definitely helpful. +1 free range action or enhanced senses. Enhanced senses let him see through the dark, so that eliminates the weakness of the dark zone in the dark side set. Or he can see 1 extra space into rooms, so he can shoot out of rooms farther or into rooms farther. So that'll help him out as well. 1 free melee action, 1 free range action, or 1 combat dice. +1 die roll to combat. So he kind of wants to push a little bit towards maybe being ranged, but definitely he's not going to shy away from doing melee combat if necessary. Now, for like stretch goal or extra characters, these guys don't have like any super crazy abilities or anything, but that's fine. They're more or less like good counterparts to a base game. Like, they add some decent new effects, different abilities, but they're not like so over the top they're gonna break the game like some of the Kickstarter stretch goal characters can sometimes do. And then our last one, we actually have a different alien, which is really fun. Like, all these other ones are different alien races, but this one looks like an actual alien. So this is Dorian the Grey, who starts with that enhanced senses. Then he gets Taunt and Xenolink. So Taunt will let you choose a spot up to 2 spots away that has Xenos in them. As long as there's a pathway through them, so not a wall or a door in the way, he can give them an extra activation to try and get to them. So it's a good way to pull them off of other survivors or away from them if they're trying to get by. Or just bring them maybe closer so you can like set up a melee character or a different range character to attack them, or put them in line of a sentry gun. So definitely some fun stuff there. Xenolink will let you, anytime the extra activation card to draw, Dorian will get a free activation. I've seen this a lot. It's a really cool ability. I liked it better in orange than I do when they put it on blue, because then you have the option if you want to use it or switch to something else. But yeah, that could be very helpful if you're worrying about them extra activations, because he can always move out of the way or attack first. Then in red, he has 1 free combat action, camouflage, and shove. So camouflage is a fun ability as well. Can work great with taunt, which is because of the way it works. So camouflage is, as long as no survivor can, as long as no Xeno can see you, has a line of sight on you, you can place a camouflage token next to your character, and it stays on there until you use a combat or machine action or make noise. And then, as long as you have that camouflage on you, Xenos are ignored. They ignore you. They don't consider you a noise token. They won't attack you, and they'll actually walk right by you. But if you're in a group with them, you still have to spend extra movement points to get out of them. Or if you walk into the group, you have to stop your action. So it doesn't affect that stuff, because you have to be cautious around them. But it's neat because you could camouflage yourself. Technically, you could do a taunt, because a taunt is not a combat action. So yeah, you could taunt them towards you. They wouldn't then be able to see you, because it says no line of sight is needed to use taunt. They'd come around the corner, not see you anywhere, and then you could, then freely escape, or you could run through them, do whatever you needed to do. So that's actually a really fun ability, combined with taunt. So cool. Those are our 4 new survivors. The last thing we will have will be our brand new Abomination. So this will be Babyface. So we will get 4 cards. Let me pop this back off there. We got our 4 activation cards, so you can mix them in. Now, if you only own one of the big sets, either Dark Side or Invader, you can go ahead and, if you bought this pack, you can go ahead and add this character in. So now you have an additional Abomination to swap out. So it says all Abomination on the board getting 1 extra activation. So now again, you could have 2 different ones. And if you have Babyface, you have to spawn it. If you didn't, nothing will happen. Yeah, so Babyface is just a giant, grotesque, fat, spiky guy, multiple arms. Graphic butt crack here. Yep, there we go. Yeah, so like the other Xenos, it has 1 action, deals 3 damage, has 3 health, and you get 5 points of experience. That's the same as all the other, not Xenos, the Abominations. Special rule is eliminated by 3 damage weapon, concentrated attacks leading to 3 damage, or Hellfire or Seismic Blast, or anything else that eliminates everything in the zones. Says when the Abomination is eliminated, all Xenos on the board immediately get an extra activation. So this guy doesn't have any extra special things like the other 2 do, the Driller or Spore, where they're creating extra tokens on the board. But if they get eliminated, it's going to activate all the rest of them. So again, if this is combined with the expansions, they have other Xenos or the Kickstarter, and you have a bunch of different Abominations out, this guy can actually be kind of more of a pain in the ass, just for that reason. And again, if you did also own that Civilian Kickstarter pack, now you could have 2 of these guys potentially, which could make that a lot more difficult. Now, one thing I do also want to point out that I love about this set is I love this card right here, a rules card. They should have included one for every single Xeno, every single Abomination. I'm fine with the regular Xenos not having a special card that explains how they work, because they're all fairly understandable. 1 action, 2 actions, stuff like that. But I really wish all the Abominations had cards like this, and they do in some of the later Zombicide games that have come out. But this makes it really easy. So if I'm only playing with 2 of them, I can just grab it. Like, again, you just have the base game. It's probably not that hard to remember how 1 character works. But if all of a sudden you have a bunch of different expansions, you have 3 or 4 or 5 different Abominations, it'd be nice to not have to go back to the books all the time, pull out 6 different rule books to try and look up the information for each one. But that's just me. Alright, so that is what we have for the Survivors of the Galaxy. So again, you can either find this by itself, or you can pick it up contained inside the Civilian pack. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.